Welcome back, everybody. It's another episode of Pole Obsession with me, Felix Cane, and Elizabeth Domazet.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us. So, in today's episode, we're going to talk about our personal favorite pole routines. I've actually had this request by quite a few people saying, "Oh, what's your favorite pole routine of all time?" Because I think everyone knows we've watched so many of them. So, we're about to tell you what they are. Do you want to start?
Sure, I sure do. Added another one because I suddenly remembered that this was another one that really has stuck in my mind. Um, and this is a dancer. His name is Josiah Grant. And I remember this was another pole con. I think it was one before the one I was just talking about in America. He was one of the sort of first male pole dancers to really influence the scene in America. And I remember he did a solo. I don't remember the song. I don't remember anything, but it was really one of the first times we'd ever seen a male presenting very masculine looking guy on the pole doing really cool tricks. But he had a very sort of feminine fluidity to him. So it was a really awesome juxtaposition. And yeah, a really excellent moment because everyone was so thrilled to see him. Like everyone was like just roaring. The crowd was so excited to see him on stage and just gave him the biggest like standing ovation. Everyone was like so happy to see him on stage. So I think that was like a really special moment because of the sort of, I guess, going from a very female dominated industry, having that support within the community to say like, yeah, everyone is welcome here and we're happy to have you. It was a cool moment. It was an excellent performance. And it really like that moment really stuck with me. I thought it was really special that everyone welcomed him, that he did such a beautiful job, that he was, brave enough to get up on stage and do his thing. Because I know he was really nervous about it. So yeah, it was a nice moment.
Yeah, I remember him, and he was like very fluid and flowy, and he was one of the first men we ever saw doing that,
Yes,
which
yeah.
sort of took us into a little bit of like the Mr. Pole era then.
Yeah, it did. And he's very like he's super strong and will funge and do strong moves on the pole, but
Yeah,
also has really excellent like base and floor work. So and he'll work in heels and not in heels.
yeah,
So he like sort of is very adaptable and very like a very interesting dancer to watch for sure.
yeah. A lot of these routines now that I'm thinking about it took us into different eras of pole, didn't they?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's sort of like
Yeah,
they were like the sort of starting points that sort of projected pole into a like slightly different direction.
yeah. All right, so I'll talk about my next one. We'll
Yes.
move on to, I mean, I can't do a favorite list without talking about Bethany Finlay. I know I talk about it because I love her to death, but her winning APC routine 2021, like what
She was
what are
on
you
my list too
doing?
but I've just written any.
Yeah, I can see that.
I've just written
Anything
any,
that she does.
anything
Yeah.
she does. I truly think she's spectacular. I really do. I think she
Same.
is. She just has, she ticks all the boxes. And that's the type of performer you want to see. Like she's super flexible. She's super strong. She can do flips. She can do
Mm.
flips.
Oh,
She's
I know
she can
she can.
dance, she can perform. She's the full package and she's so
Yeah.
exciting. She's so like ingenious with her movements as well. Like
Mhm.
she's created so much stuff on the pole. Like it's great, amazing, phenomenal. And
Yeah.
I think as well because she's like I would say there's like maybe a spectrum of like pole dancers, like different styles. And I think we're like on the opposite sides of each other. So I'm like looking over there like, you are so amazing and I will never touch you.
Well, she says the same thing about you. So
It's a big spectrum. It's a broad
yeah.
spectrum.
Yeah. Well, I think the other thing with Bess is she does stuff like she laughs too when she does it. Like she comes out on stage, when she's about to perform and compete for APC, and she'll go, "How's your insurance, Elle?" Like, and then she does a backflip from the top of the pole, and she knows I'll be having a heart attack the whole time.
Yeah.
But the things that she can do, I've never seen another performer do,
No.
on a stage in a competition.
No, yeah, agree.
Yeah.
Like in a live, and it's so different doing things like in studio versus on stage. Like it is just so different. So yeah, I agree. I think there's nobody like her. There really isn't. And I think she's, oh man, I could go on about her forever. I think she's truly exceptional.
Yeah, she is truly, truly exceptional. She is by far, without doubt, one of the world's best pole dancers.
I think is and ever will be. Like I don't, do you know what I mean? Like I don't think that there's a certain caliber of pole that I feel like is untouchable. I really do. And I think she is right out there.
Yeah, definitely 100%. So anyway, we love you, Beth.
We love you, Beth. And you're
talking about you again.
Yeah, I know we do chat about her, but because remember originally she was supposed to be in the podcast, so we're just kind of slowly bringing her in.
Yes. For those of you listening to this, we do have a podcast with Bethany. We filmed one with her, so we're just trying to get her to let us release it.
Yeah. Flood her DMs with like, please let them do it. Please let them do it.
Yes.
She's so funny as well. She is so funny. I love her. She's such a laugh.
Beth could have her own show. She's actually hysterical. Like
literally could. I know. She is so I honestly, she's so funny.
Yeah. I mean, like I spend a lot of time with her and we talk to each other constantly, and I'm always just like, we're just laughing the whole time. So she's a cool person too.
You guys have a fun dynamic. I've lost my place. I've lost my place. Hang on. No, you go next because I've lost my place. I don't know where I am.
Okay. So I might move on to one that I absolutely adore. I have spoken about her before, and how can I not? So Chelle Hafner and the Terminator routine.
Yes. Such a good one. Such a good one.
Yeah. And I think with this routine, it was the very first time that I'd actually seen somebody become a movie character, really the movie character. You know? She was the Terminator. So and it was early, it was like 2011. So it probably was one of the first to ever actually do it as well, like that really held a character. And she was the Terminator, speaking as the Terminator, but she was doing tricks that were intense, like, your death lay on the pole, shoulder flips. She was doing her kamikaze, not just a fonji. So it was a full kamikaze, which no one was doing.
What the heck? Yeah.
No one was doing that. So she was doing all of those sorts of tricks, but she was also doing things like a completely flat Deville. So, and we all know Deville's like way harder than a jade. You what?
I can't
whisper. It's a podcast.
I know. That's right. They heard me.
Oh, a Deville? You know why I reckon you can't do a Deville if you can't do one?
Too flexible.
No. You know what it is? And it's the same with me. I've got the same sort of situation, but yours is a little bit different. So our legs are bowed.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. So my legs go that way, whereas your legs bow backwards, yeah?
Yeah.
So my thighs...
I can't see what you're doing. Yours go out to the side and in, and mine also go out to the side and in, but they also go right backwards as well.
Yeah. So it's really hard to do inner thigh grip with that sometimes. So, for example, I can't do a flat straight leg layback easily, a super simple move, but my thighs don't touch. Yeah. So I have to fix my body to do a straight leg layback. So I do cross knee releases instead.
Yes. Yeah. So, I can do a straight leg layback, but I do have to overcross my
and twist the hip as well a little bit?
No, I don't twist the hip. I overcross the leg, and then you know what I do? I lock in using that bow, because the bow that goes backwards, when I overcross, I can lock it in by forcing the knees backwards.
Yeah. See, I don't have that backward bow. I've just got the...
No, you don't. Yeah. Look at your little bow legs.
Bow legs. We've got bow legs.
So do I. I can call you a little bow leggy because I got a little bow leggy too.
That's it. So there's certain things we can't do with bow legs. So now we've gone off track again.
Yes,
This is
we
we
have.
roll. We've gone off track again. So back to Chelle. So Chelle, yes, doing a DeVille and just flexible, dynamic, strong, scary tricks. Like that death lay on the top of the scarf was like, we were like, what is she? She was holding on by her thighs.
Yeah.
In the middle of her thighs at the top of a 4-meter truss. So,
and
yeah,
staying in character like the whole time.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Like it was such a cool thing to see. And like you said, because we hadn't seen that on stage before, like we'd seen, I guess, everyone was just very used to like showgirl, sparkly costume, little bit sexy, do some tricks on the pole, and then to take that and like shift it to something so different. It was such a powerful moment.
Yeah, it was. So, and obviously we all know, I have spoken about this, but if you haven't heard the previous podcast, Chelle is competing with that routine, but an upgraded version of it, a new version of it, in this year's Australian Pole Championships.
So cool.
Cool.
I don't know if I said this before, but I'm all about using like past shows, past themes again. Like I feel like you put so much time, energy, effort, money into these things. And sometimes that's your magnus opus. Like sometimes you have created the best thing you're ever going to create. And then everything after that is like kind of subpar. So I'm all about using it again.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
I'm excited by it. All right, so we'll move on to yours.
My next one, I'm so sorry. I love this girl so much, and I'm gonna butcher her last name because I don't think I've ever heard it said out loud, and I've only ever read it, and I only ever said her first name to her face. So I'm gonna try and say it, but I'm so sorry. I feel like everyone's gonna know her anyway because she's a very famous pole dancer. But it's Anastasia Skukhtorova.
Oh, well, I was going to say Skukhtorova, but I was probably wrong and you're probably right.
Skukhtorova.
Sorry, Anastasia.
I'm so sorry, Anastasia. Like, if I hear it, I'll be able to like mimic, but I don't think I've ever heard it said out loud. She did, and this is a performance I didn't see live, but it was one of the very first pole sort of art pieces that was filmed professionally in a really beautiful location. And I think, back then, a lot of us weren't really doing that. Like we weren't getting a professional videographer to film us doing a piece that we have created specifically for that reason. So it was such a lovely, lovely, lovely moment, like just piece of art that was made that using pole dancing and filmography, videography in a way that we hadn't seen before. And it was really beautifully put together to the song Hallelujah. I think she used the Jeff Buckley version from memory. And she's an incredible performer, just so beautiful. She, again, was one of those dancers that really sort of changed the trajectory of pole. She's very, very flexible, very, very strong. She brought, I think, this sort of extreme back bends and shoulder mobility into pole, and really, really beautiful, really beautifully as like an excellent quality of dance and movement as well. So she was definitely, I think, very inspirational in that time as well, because so many people shared this beautiful video. It wasn't just beautiful pole dancing. The cinematography as well was just very beautifully done. It was very simple. I think it was just sort of like a brick wall, pole, lights were there, and then she was dancing so beautifully. But it was really lovely, and I think that it elevated the performance because it was so beautifully done, and it elevated pole, which was really, I think, a really important thing.
Yeah, no, I remember that performance, and she was beautiful. She was in London when I was judging a London Championships there, so I got to know a little bit there. But she also came to Australia, and she did pole camp in Australia. So she was there. I think she was the very first actually international guest for the summer pole camp. So I met her there as well. She's a gorgeous performer. I don't know if people know this, but she's actually the APC logo. So those three.
I know this.
You did?
I just know because I know her body. Like
yes.
I recognized her body. Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
So she's the three girls in the APC logo, and we just changed the hue and the colours on her
Yeah.
to make it different. But she's the APC logo. She's also the Aerial Pole Academy logo. So I've got a purple girl in a rainbow
Yeah.
Mashenko, and that's Anastasia.
Yeah.
So
Amazing.
yes,
And I know this as well because someone said to me, "Oh, is this you?" And I knew immediately it wasn't me, and I knew immediately it was her.
yeah,
Because I think there's one in the eagle as well, isn't there?
yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, is that you?" I was like, "No, it's Anastasia." Just from the colored like logo that you have.
Yeah. And I mean, like back then when it was created, like how many people were doing those sorts of moves? So there wasn't
Not
a
that
lot of
many.
you.
Not that many. There was not many of us that had the facility to do it. And to be fair, Rainbow Marshenko, like I think it took me 8 years to get into it.
That's
Like
hard.
no, I only did it like what in I think it was maybe when was it? 2016 or 17, something like
Yeah,
that.
I
Like it
remember
took me
seeing a picture of
years.
you under the bridge doing it.
Was I doing it under a bridge?
Yeah, like you were
I
as
don't
an
know.
outdoor photo shoot.
Oh yeah. It was in front of a tunnel. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like did it like maybe 5 times and was like, this is not for me.
Well, you did it very well.
It's just not for me.
You know what? The thing with the rainbow is actually a really, really hard trick because you need strength to hold yourself up. You need
Yeah.
extreme flexibility to grab your foot in the first place.
Yeah.
And then you need your splits, you need your hips, and you need your shoulders and back
Yeah.
in that, and
And
strength to
also
hold your
like
body up.
strength in the supporting arm on the pole, but a lot of strength in that pulling arm because you can't just sit there passively. You're gonna tip to the back. You have to like
Yeah.
so hard. So it is like it's not one of those ones that you can comfortably like once you're in it, just relax. Like you're always working.
Yeah. So when, competitors do that, we always say that covers strength, flexibility, back, shoulders, hips, legs. So
Yeah.
it's a good one if a competitor can do it because I got a lot of points for that trick.
Do it and do it well. Yeah. It
Yes.
demonstrates so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there are moves like that, aren't there, where people are like, oh, it's a flexibility move. And you're like, no, it's not. It's not just flexibility because it's also all these other things.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So should we move on to another one? So my next one, I think we're going to talk about, should we talk about Felix Cane?
Me?
How can you say favorite routines of all time and Felix Cane not be in favorite routines of all time?
Because
I
let me tell
know
you
we
something.
talk about you a lot because this is our podcast and all that. But
Can I tell you the funniest thing? I can't watch myself. I can't watch videos of myself like doing pole solos. I can't do it.
yeah, I think that's crazy.
I don't like it.
You know what? Honestly, though, if I was as good as you, I'd just be watching myself all day long. Be bloody hell, and I'd be showing everyone too. Look what I can do. Did you see that move? Look again. You want to see my spatchcock again? I got into it by myself without anyone pushing me.
Look how wide my legs are going.
Right?
They're so far
these
apart from each
lines of
other.
mine. I'll be showing everyone.
Oh Lordy,
Don't know how you
no.
can't watch yourself.
No, I can't. I don't. I've yet really like judgy of myself. Like I just like see all the bits that I don't like.
Wow.
It's funny, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is funny actually. But you know what? Honestly, and a lot of really good polars are like that. And I think because you are perfectionist, that's why you're as good as what you are.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. And I think that's the thing that was drilled into me, like in my dancing days. I was a ballerina before I was a pole dancer. Like perfection was what you aimed for. It wasn't like good enough. It was perfect or not.
Yeah. So look, in a way, it's done you well. Back to you, Theo, because went off the subject like we normally do. So your world's routine, I think I watched that 2,000 times. I remember it coming out, and I remember when you were competing and we were all desperate to see it because there's no live stream back then.
Yeah.
Desperate to see it on YouTube. So when it hit YouTube, I'm sure it just exploded because we were waiting for the results. Facebook was a thing back there. Instagram was not, and we were waiting for the results. We knew that this competition was coming up, and everyone in Australia was waiting to hear if you won it or not, because, you know, obviously the whole country was behind you. And that's how it was back then. You
Yeah,
are like our hero back then, you know. We're like, oh, Felix is competing, you know. We're so desperate to see it. And when it came out, we just watched it over and over again. Because the things that you were doing, people are still can't do today and are still trying to do, you know. And it was just mind-blowing. But your dance, your fluidity, your performance, you're like a true world champion. So, I mean, I don't want to blow smoke up your ass, but I am.
thank you. I'm loving it. Thank you. Blow harder.
You know, well, and it's well deserved too. You are fantastic. You are great. You are great. End of story. Great.
I appreciate that very much. And I also love it. Like, I really love being on stage. So it was always a kind of a kind of surprise that all the rest that came with it. I did pole dancing because I loved it, and then competed because I loved, you know, being on stage and kind of was a thing to do. And then everything just snowballed, you know, from the competitions. That's where the Cirque offer came from. And so all these things came from like just dancing and doing something that I love. And I will never, ever, ever be able to express the amount of appreciation that I have for all those people who do and did support me and believe in what I was doing and I'm doing. It is so truly humbling. It really is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think, you know, a lot of people call you the GOAT, right? So
Do they?
yes, they do. The
Okay.
GOAT. Yeah, the GOAT.
I'm a
So
goat.
yeah, greatest of all time. And
I'll take that.
yeah. Oh, you should take it.
I'll take it. I will.
Yeah.
I will. Even if it's not true, I will take it and I will run with it.
Well, it's not that it's not true. I think, you know, when you came out and you did what you did, you completely changed pole dancing for so many people, and you were so inspiring for so many people worldwide. There was no one who did pole in the world back at that time who did not know who you were. That's a massive achievement.
That is true, actually. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, you know, given that I probably was one of the only pole dancing videos on YouTube back then, you know, like there wasn't that much. So it kind of is a little bit by chance, a little bit of luck as well. Like, initially on YouTube, there wasn't that many pole dancers. Then I was like one of the pole dancers there. And so that snowballed. And then, and then the Cirque thing and then the Worlds and stuff. So yeah, it got big. It got big real quick. It was like 2 years. Within 2 years, I went from starting pole dancing, nobody knowing me, and to winning the Worlds and being a Cirque du Soleil. So it happened super fast. Yeah, I was 21. I was so young. I was so stupid.
Wow.
Yeah, I was so young.
So young to be achieving so much in something that you weren't even going to go to the class.
I know, right? Something that I was like, this doesn't seem like my thing. I'm a bit too classy for this.
Yeah. Apparently it is your thing. It is your thing.
I'm classy as dirt.
I think we're classy. Pole dancers are classy. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, we are. Definitely. All right, so that's mine. What's your next one?
I think I'm down to my last one, and it's sort of a I guess a special tribute moment, because I have to say that Bobbi was a huge inspiration to me. And I was lucky enough to see her live and perform with her for some of the Miss Pole Dance openings. And we also did some performances like overseas and at different showcases across the world and across the nation. So I feel very, very lucky to have danced next to her, to have seen her choreograph and how she worked. I don't think there was a specific show that I would, you know, love more than any other one, but I really do feel like she influenced me a lot. And also I feel like if there wasn't a Bobbi's Pole Studio, there wouldn't be a Felix Cane. So I do have to say thank you to her, and rest in peace.
Yeah, definitely rest in peace. And I think my memory, I never met Bobbi, surprisingly. You would have thought that I would have,
Yeah,
right? But
I would have.
yeah, I never met Bobbi. But obviously, I went to the Miss Poles and I saw her dance, and she was one of the dancers would always gravitate your eyes towards, and you'll always look at her and you'd see her in the lineup. You know instantly who it was. She had the beautiful long legs and beautiful long hair, and she was a stunning performer, but she was really captivating. So
Yeah,
she was a standout. She was a
yeah.
standout on the
Super
stage.
magnetic, like just
Yeah.
such a endearing quality to her.
Yeah. Yeah. She's one person that I really wished I had met. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Would have
think
loved to have
you
met.
two would have gotten along. You very
See?
like I feel like yeah, I feel like you both very strong personalities. But I mean she was very direct, very honest, very sweet, but also very private.
Yeah. Surprisingly, with everything that she created, that she was
Yeah,
very
I
proud.
know, right? Yeah, she was a very private person.
Might have needed it with how much she had going on around her.
Yeah, I think so. It's just like escape.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Okay, you've seen me dance now. See you
Yes,
later.
that's enough. That's all you get. Goodbye.
That's
Yeah,
it.
but even in the comps and stuff, she was always behind the scenes. Like she wasn't really like yeah, she wasn't super available to people. She was quite the introvert.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense though. Like I think when you put a lot of your life out in the public, some
Mm,
people just don't want to. Yeah.
yeah. I think also it's healthy as well for balance. You know, I think sometimes people
Yes.
do give too much of themselves and they feel like they owe people more than what they are comfortable giving. So I think it is important to like have that work-life balance and know where your boundaries are.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. So we're down to my last one.
Your last one.
My last one, last but not least. So Australian Pole Championships 2014, Andrea Ryff. Yes. Her fluidity, the beauty of this routine. Andrea's lines are exceptional and her emotion is exceptional. So she's a performer, you can feel her performance.
Yes.
So this one really, and I was Andrea's coach back then. So this is one of the ones when I saw her dancing, I was like, this
Oh,
is
she got
very,
it. Yeah.
very special. Yeah, very, very special. And in 2014, we had really, really big names competing. Like
Yeah.
it was a big, big comp back then. And it's still a huge comp, obviously. But we had like, massive names. So like I guess it was kind of like the icon back then, like you
Yeah.
have all the big names. It
Yeah,
was
there was
very
yeah, I
yeah,
feel like now we've got a lot of like fresh people, newcomers,
yes.
like whereas 2014 was like very much like established pole dancers that were excellent. Like all
Yeah,
that was the lineup. There was so many of them there. Like
yeah, the OGs. So
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So she was a newer one back then amongst the OGs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for her to come out and to win it was a really special moment and she deserved it. She was
Yeah.
just and she works hard. She's a workhorse, that one. So when she wants to do something,
She does it
the
even
work.
with a broken foot.
Oh, can you believe it?
I can't
Yeah.
believe it.
You know what's funny? You, Andrea, and Beth all broke your foot at the same time.
Yeah, our
Or
ankles.
similar
We
time,
did.
yeah.
Yeah, we
It's
did. Like really similar time. Um, how weird is that?
I know. So
Something
weird.
like why the ankle? I wonder if it was all the same ankle. Mine was my left one. We should like ask the other two if
Yeah,
theirs was their left one.
I don't
Um,
know.
yeah, and Andrea, I love she has such a like a confidence on the pole on stage. Like she feels powerful.
I think that Andrea, when she's on the stage and in the moment, she loves it.
Yeah.
I think leading up to it, she's not so loving it.
Oh yeah. I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, yeah. Where it's
Yeah, but
like,
I think
why am I doing this to myself? I hate this. This is so stupid. Why
yeah,
am I doing this? And then you get on stage, you're like, I want it again.
yeah. I think there's a lot like that, so
Yeah,
because it is quite stressful.
it is. And then yeah, you go on and you got all that adrenaline and endorphins running through, and you're like, oh yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
ready. Let's
Maybe
do it.
not right
Rewind
before you're
music.
walking on, but when you're on there doing it, you love it.
Yeah, well, I get stage fright still to this day. I am not very good at my nerves. I get really nervous, even now, even today. But I'm good at handling them. But once I get on stage, I'm fine. So as long as I can put a foot on the stage, I'm good.
Yeah, yeah. And I think, look, it's harder in a competition, like you've told us previously, when you're competing to when you're performing is a
Yeah.
really big difference.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. It's so much more pressure.
Yeah. Well, that's it for both of our top 10. Obviously, there's so many more. I think we need to say that we absolutely love, but we would be talking forever if we kept talking about everyone we loved.
We would, and we do. There's so many more people that we do love and adore. And yeah, this is not an exclusive list. This is just
No.
a little taster.
Yeah, and yeah, if you are listening and you think any of them sound like it's something you'd like to watch, jump onto YouTube and you'll definitely be able to find them for sure.
Yes, do it. Do it. Do a deep dive.
Yes, do it. Thank you, everyone, so much for listening. This is
Thank you, guys. We appreciate you so much. And until next time, we will see you later.
You forgot to tell them where to find us.
Oh, okay. Thanks so much for listening, guys. If you want to find us, we are on Instagram. She's going to tell you her tag because I always forget it.
Aerial pole.
I know, right? And who am I? I am the real Felix Cane. Like and subscribe to our podcast if you want to hear us talk more about polls. And if you want to leave us a 5-star review, that'd be great.
It would be great. Thank you for listening.